It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. We know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 339. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. We are back from the UCK.
We are officially home.
Do we sound British? Do we do that thing where we adopt a British accent?
No, we did not. I'll go ahead and answer for people. That would be weird.
It would be weird.
And we were only there 7 days.
Yeah, like that's... But we did a lot of things.
We did do a lot of things.
We did a lot of things.
And I did use the phrase, the lift, unironically.
You did.
So,
you were like, we have to catch the lift.
So if I had stayed there longer, who knows what would happen? What craziness would ensue?
I feel like they have another word for craziness.
They probably do.
We should probably use.
Let me channel
a bumper snuffle.
Let me channel Kim/Kim. I was really chuffed to get home. Yesterday, she was looking for something. She said, "Let me have a sniff around." Oh, the sayings are great. So we giggled so much at all the sayings that everybody had.
But we had a blast, and we'll talk about that more in the Patreon episode of all the things we did. We got them up through Wednesday morning.
Yeah, because that's the day we recorded. So yes, that was Wednesday.
So we had or had not been to Harry Potter yet when we recorded last Wednesday. I don't remember, but
yeah. We had, because it was really late at night when we recorded.
Okay, that's yeah. So but we will give you the updates, which will also include the wrap-up party.
Yes.
Where got to meet all the it was craziness in that place.
It was.
Well, if you want to, I'm just trying to tell them where they can hear it.
Okay.
Just let me get it out.
Commence.
Go chuff yourself.
I don't think that's how that's used.
Oh.
I think you just came up with a whole new saying.
Yes. So you can, you'll hear that in this week's bonus episode over at patreon.com/theclipout, where we will regale you with more tales from our trip abroad. And you can sign up for that over at patreon.com/theclipout, where for $5 a month, you get all the bonus content. You get ad-free episodes. If we get them early, you get them early. So even overseas, when we got it early, I sent it out early. Now, I didn't do the newsletter.
Well, and we got the bonus. You said we got the bonus. You were talking about the bonus, and we got the bonus out too.
Yes.
So we did.
You got
both.
the bonus out.
I got the bonus.
I got the early content out.
Yes.
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
For sure.
So
takes a village. And all the articles were courtesy of the helper bees.
The village. That's the village. So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, I want to make sure everybody knows that our next book club is going to be this coming Tuesday, December 12th at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be discussing Evie Drake Starts Over, I think is the name of it. Wow.
It is.
Okay, I'm second guessing myself. So first of all, I wanted to make sure about that. And then I also, as far as what else we are discussing.
My share button had disappeared in the Zoom window.
Oh.
So that's why that wasn't up there yet.
Well, that we are going to be meeting to discuss. No author this time, but that's okay. We can talk about how we really feel about the book.
Yeah, now if you don't like it, you don't feel bad. Everybody liked the last one. I don't want to make it sound like people didn't like it.
We had a great time, and I'm just teasing.
But I did think about that when you were like, we got the author. I was like, but what if the book's a piece of shit?
But it was great. So it worked out well. We got lucky. Phew. So yes, Evie Drake Starts Over. Honestly, it's a quick read, so you might even still be able to get it done between now and Tuesday. And if you can't, that's okay. You could just join us. That's all right.
Yeah, you can just hang.
You can just hang out.
That's fun too.
It is. We have a lot of fun on these.
Then you'll know what happened in the book, and when you're at Christmas parties, you can be like, I read that book.
That's right. Let me tell you about it.
Yeah. So also, we should let people know our guest this week is Blake Morgan. Blake Morgan is a keynote speaker and customer experience futurist. We got ourselves another futurist.
Well, this is his wife.
Correct.
People that might remember, because at the end of the interview that we did with her husband, he was like, "You should really interview Blake."
And we did.
And so we did.
Yeah.
We took his advice.
She talks about that. And what she has, her best-selling second book is called The Customer of the Future, 10 Guiding Principles for Winning Tomorrow's Business. So she's going to talk about Peloton stuff and that sort of stuff as well. And
we hit customer service at Peloton as well. So
yes.
For those of you who are raising an eyebrow,
for real,
we will discuss.
Yes.
All right. So as far as what's coming up this week, besides those two things, we are also going to be talking about the Tread Plus. And then our head of marketing that was here for 2 seconds is gone. And then Peloton's going to be cutting some checks. And it's a pretty hefty one.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I'll put all of the disclaimers on it. And we're going to talk about new features. We also have some updates for the instructors. Maddie's is probably my favorite, just from
that's
the
a fun
fun factor.
Yes.
And then we have a visit from Angelo. What to do when working out falls off your to-do list. And then, of course, we have some celebrity sightings and past guest updates and a whole bunch of content updates as well.
Awesome. Well, before we get to all that shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, iHeart, TuneIn. Wherever you find podcasts, you can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. Super helpful. Greatly appreciated. You can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout, where you can watch all of these episodes. Of course, our aforementioned Patreon, patreon.com/theclipout, where for $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content. You get ad-free episodes. If we get them early, you get them early. And things like the book club, which we should remind people, the book club is on the free tier. So you can sign up at Patreon, but you don't actually have to pay anything to be a part of that conversation. We'd love to have you. And then, of course, we have our website, theclipout.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter when I'm not out of the country and too lazy to assemble it, which will be returning to normal this week. Ta-da. So, and we're on the facebook.com/theclipout. Like the page, join the group. There, that's done. Let's dig in, shall we? We shall.
We shall.
There we go.
Peloton in the news.
Tread Plus is officially back. I think it's official when they'll actually take your money for it.
Yeah.
And take your money, they will.
Yeah. And so they had announced a while back that the price would be $5,995. And then when they put it on pre-order today, it was $4,995.
It's on sale.
It's on sale.
Starts on sale.
So that means it's only about $700 more than it was back in 2018. Now,
You've got a theory.
I do have a theory. I think they are trying to sell out what's in stock. And then I think we're going to see a new Tread Plus.
Tread Plus Plus?
I don't know what they're going to call it.
Tread Plus Times? Tread Plus Squared?
I would think Tread Plus Squared.
Tread Plus Cubed?
No, Squared. It's got to be Squared.
Tread Plus Ford? I don't know what comes after Cubed. Quant?
We should probably focus.
Okay.
I don't know.
Tread Plus Focus?
I don't know what they're going to call it, but I do think I was looking at the specs today, and it was like there's only 2 gigabytes of RAM compared to the regular Tread that has 4, and the monitor, although it's bigger, it has less
resolution.
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah.
And so I'm just thinking like, there's going to be a new version.
They got to get some more megahertz in there.
I do.
It's all megahertz these days.
Well, and even the motor is like smaller than the motor on the regular Tread.
Yeah, you're like the regular Tread is 3 horsepower, and this one is 2 horsepower.
Yeah, so I really think we're going to see a new one, and I really think it's going to be an even pricier price point. So for those of you concerned about, I want to have the slats and I want to pay as little as possible for the slats, get it while you can, because I I think once these are gone, they're gone. I don't think we're going to see another like shipment of these. Now, this is all theory, conjecture.
Right.
I do not know. No one has told me. No one at Peloton has said anything about this, and they would probably not be happy with me even discussing this. To be quite frank,
they've been not happy with us before.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if you think about it, the Tread Plus at this point is the technology on that is what, 5 years old?
Exactly.
I mean, that's a lifetime. That's 2 lifetimes in the world of tech. So it's not crazy that there would be a next generation of Tread Plus where they're like, well, make the monitor have higher resolution, make the speaker, make the woofers more woofier. You know? Exactly.
Yes, I totally agree with that. So that is my theory.
Well, you should agree with it. It was your idea.
I know.
It would be weird if you didn't.
It's true. But I also think that if you're the person who's like, I need the slats, and that's your biggest thing, and you want to pay as little as possible, like I said, you should buy now. If you are the person that's like, I want the brand new thing, I don't care how much it costs, hold your roll.
Take a beat.
Yeah. That's my theory. That's what I'm sticking to.
Okay.
Calling it now. So anyway, it's out. Reportedly, we got 10,000 to sell and go.
There we go. Peloton's marketing head has left the building, Leslie Berland.
Yeah.
For Verizon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good for her. You know that paycheck is not small.
Well, I don't think Peloton's paycheck was small.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
So,
like, good for you, Miss Berlin.
Yeah.
Woo.
And think how much money she saves, because I bet you she gets at least 20% off her cell phone bill. So
I don't know. Verizon is actually notoriously stingy with that stuff, but
really?
That's a whole nother story. So I am kind of sad about this because she was really, really excited about bringing Peloton to everyone.
Yeah.
And I believe she really, really wanted to do that. And so I feel like, who's going to do that now? What's next, Peloton?
It will be very interesting to see if whoever is next, because everybody's got their own marketing philosophies.
Right.
And obviously she's in a fairly short amount of time has really put her own stamp on things. It'll be interesting to see if they'll hire someone who wants to continue in that vein, or if they're going to get somebody that's going to be like, I've got to prove I'm smart. Let me redo everything again.
I'll go hire Ryan Reynolds. Oh, wait, we've already done that one.
We've done that one. Now you got to hire Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, so I'm very curious. I hope they stay with the current one. Personally, I really love seeing the real members. I love seeing the movement. I love seeing the colors. I love seeing the rebrand. So, like, keep it there. If I get a vote, that's my vote.
I also think that, like, it looks bad. Like, you can't continually reinvent yourself. Like, I get that there are times you need to do a brand refresh, but since they just did one, I think it would be poor form to turn around and do another one.
I agree.
I think you got to kind of ride this out for a little bit longer, or at least if you're doing other things, they need to be a little bit more subtle than what they just did.
Agreed.
So this is an interesting story that you stumbled upon out of Ohio. Peloton owes Eastwood local schools nearly $400,000 after not opening their Ohio factory.
The pop factory, if you will.
And you will. And so I read the article. I did some digging to try and figure out, because I was confused as to what it all meant.
Yeah, well, fill me in, because I didn't have time. So
apparently when Peloton announced they were opening this factory, they agreed to give the local school district $389,000 per year for the next 15 years starting in 2024. Presumably, the factory was intended to be open by 2024.
It was.
Obviously, that's not going to occur. Mm-hmm. And so now they're like, do we still get the money? Like, what's going on there? Like, I think it was almost like kind of like a voluntary TIF. And so now that they're not coming, is the money still there? And the school district in question said that they have not budgeted for the money. So they're assuming they're not getting it. And if they get it, it'll be a pleasant surprise. And the superintendent will get a $400,000 raise. No, they didn't say that part. But they made a comment about, they're like, well, we're a Nexus we're in the Nexus district, and so we're used to having to like make these adjustments, which then I was like, what does that mean? So apparently the Nexus pipeline, which is a natural gas pipeline, runs through a swath of the state, and part of the deal was they would pay a certain percentage of whatever to the school districts, and then that company then immediately sued and said it should be less than they agreed to, or they calculated it differently. And so they've been waiting for years and years for the court ruling. So they're like, we're used to being told we're going to get one amount of money, and we actually get a different amount of money. So we're cool. So it was kind of a little dig at the gas company. So
well,
but so yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The money's not technically due till next year. I don't know if they still plan on paying it or not. I don't know if they're still legally obligated. The article doesn't really even go into if there's any
probably
version.
because it's too complicated to suss out.
For sure. Like, it sounds very complex. So it'll be interesting to see how that pays out. They had a quote in the article from Peloton where it was basically like, we always pay our taxes and fees in a timely manner, but it doesn't actually state whether or not they consider this a tax and or a fee. So we shall see.
Well, yeah, we will.
But
watch this space.
Like, would your football team like a Peloton?
How about a trip to Michigan?
We can give you 2 refurbished rowers. How about that? And a pair of leggings. You can now, on the app, I guess they're rolling this out.
They are rolling this out.
Set your activity goals.
Yes, if you don't have it yet, just chill out. It's coming eventually. I don't have it either. I would say this is more of I wouldn't say it's a beta test because it's going to happen, but it might be a while before everybody gets it. This one's going slow. At any rate, yes, you can go in and track your activity goals. You can set it by active days, or you can set a goal based on time. Like, say, I want to work out this many hours a week, or you can say, this is how many workouts I want to do. So, it will be interesting to see how people respond to this. So far, people have been very excited about it.
Wait, Peloton did something that people aren't bitching about?
Oh, I'm sure somebody's bitching somewhere.
Okay.
Probably that they don't have it yet. It's probably what they're bitching about.
But
I don't have it yet.
This seems like a good, like I like this idea of like different people calculate what they want to achieve using different metrics. Like you said, some are by day, some are by number of workouts, and this, I like the fact that it gives you that flexibility to do that.
I mean, it's another good way of Peloton meeting people where they are.
Yeah. And then the new Leslie Berland will be like, no, take it all away.
We aren't meeting you where you are. You come to us.
You get over here right now. Be like Mortal Kombat. Get over here. Get over here. There is an upcoming holiday gift drive with Rad Lopez.
Yeah, December 13th, 3:30 to 5, there's going to be an event where they're going to have a gift drive. You're going to be able to have a Q&A panel with Rad. There's going to be a meet and greet. You bring a gift, and then they're going to serve some light refreshments as well. They're looking for things like diapers, pull-ups, children's clothing, new or gently used, adults clothing, new or gently used, and they're looking for toys for children 0 to 12. And those toys could be anywhere from cars, trucks, dolls, stuffed animals, board games, educational games, books, etc. Do not wrap it.
No echelons.
And also don't wrap it.
Yes.
Like for real.
Yeah.
This is going to support Peloton's partner in the Bronx, WHED Co., and the families they serve.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And coming up after this, we're going to tell you how your Waze navigation just got Peloton-fied. That's a word now.
Pelotonified?
Pelotonized?
I don't know.
Something like that. Anyway, stick around.
Instructors in the news.
If you like to use Waze as your navigation of choice, I am personally a Google Maps guy.
Yeah, you need to switch. I was on Google Maps. I switched I switched for this.
Well, you had to switch because you have an iPhone.
No.
And Apple Maps is notoriously dog shit.
No, that's absolutely not true. First of all, I agree with that about Apple Maps. Like,
You're like, wait, that part's true.
It literally took me to the wrong place for my doctor's office.
Yeah.
But I still use Google Maps. You can still use Google Maps on an Apple iPhone.
Yes.
And this made me change this specific thing.
Matty Maggiacomo is, what is he, a saucy panda?
No, he's a spicy gingerbread man.
Okay. Yes, he is.
He is. I love this so much. So he voices it, and you can go in and change your voice, and you just change it to the spicy gingerbread man, and you will have Matty Maggiacomo guiding you everywhere you go. And he'll be like, ooh, let's go on our winter drive. It's not that hard. Turn right. Turn right. And then he's like, got it, pumpkin. Okay, cookie. I love it. I did reach out to him just to congratulate him. And he was saying that it was just a fun little thing. And I was like, okay, so did you have to record everything individually?
Yeah.
Or did they like somehow AI it? And he said, no, I had to record every single thing. And it took 2 hours. 2 hours, you guys.
I'm surprised it's that quick, because I mean that's a lot of things that they say.
It is. I was thinking to myself, boy, there are only so many ways you can say turn right, turn here, turn left.
Right.
Haha. You know, I mean, and then he would be like, you're here, but you didn't think you could get here being guided by a gingerbread man. Oh, Matty.
It's nice to see he's helping people overcome hurtful gingerbread stereotypes.
It is. It is. Matty, always reaching for more inclusiveness.
He's a trailblazer.
He really is.
His gingerbread man is burnt because he's blazing trails.
I tell you what, though, if you want a little holiday treat, even if you never use Waze again, take at least one drive with Matty. You will have a good time.
And if you're a Google Maps aficionado, fear not, because Waze is owned by Google.
Yeah, you're and I actually enjoyed it, Tom. Like, Waze has fun stuff in it. Like, you get moods. Like, after you've taken the number of drives, you get little moods that are show on your map, and you can see other Wazers where they are on the map, and you can see what mood they're in. Like
it knows your mood by how, if you drive really fast, that you're angry.
I don't know. You can change your mood.
Oh.
And then it also will have all these, like, the topography is like a little bit different interface, and then it's like, ooh, up here something's going on. Like, it's a totally different experience using Waze. I actually really enjoyed it.
Let's see. I don't know that I want a different experience.
Of course you don't.
Well, because I
remember what it was like getting you to change cable companies when I first met you. Oh my God.
A whole thing.
Oh my God.
But like, I already know, I can look at Google Maps. I instantly know what it's telling me, and I don't have to think.
Right. That in your 2 restaurants you go to. I get it.
Hey.
I know.
As my wife, you should take solace in my love of routine and loyalty.
Okay. Just saying.
I'm just saying. So Logan Aldridge was on ABC News talking about his new adaptive seating classes that he's just released.
Yeah. And I also have to, this is kind of relating back to Matty. I took a live class with him this week, and Matty was saying that he saw Logan. He woke up and Logan was on the news, and he was like, every day I wake up and one of my coworkers is on the news. But he was like, I just love Logan's little mustache. Like, he's like, I got a thing for mustaches, and then he's got the longer hair. He was really into it. But anyway, Logan is promoting, like you said, their new seated content program, the Adaptive Fitness, and talking about why that is so important and why it's important to increase awareness about it. So great interview if you haven't seen it. I love this, and I love everything that Logan does. He's a genuinely great guy. So.
And we will be talking a little bit more about the classes themselves coming up later in our content section of the show. Camila Ramon was featured in People magazine.
Yeah, and this was kind of an in case you missed it because it's actually this is several weeks old at this point.
Okay.
But we wanted to write about it because she talks about her journey. She goes through a lot of conversation about body image and what that means to her, how it shifted over time.
Yeah.
And it was a really good article. So we wanted to make sure and highlight that.
Absolutely. It's also nice to see, like, there's kind of 3 or 4 instructors that you see in People magazine all the time.
Yep.
And so I always like when we get to see one that doesn't fit that bill. I'm excited for the ones that get featured.
I know.
I know. Don't
You're not
at
hating.
me. I'm not hating. But it's nice to see other people getting some love too.
Agreed.
We have 2 Peloton anniversaries this week, and they both have been there for the exact same amount of time. So if there's ever any fights over vacation days, Mila Lazar and Benny Adami are not going to be happy with each other.
They're going to have to fight it out.
Yes.
I think they'd probably just get the same amount of time, would be my guess.
But like, what if they both want the same day off?
Well,
and they're not equipped for that. They're like, no, you can't both go on vacation at the same time.
I think Peloton's got it.
I don't know. Things going to get weird in the break room.
Well, congrats to both Benny and Mila. It's I can't believe it's already been 2 years. I know I keep saying this, but good Lord, that pandemic messed me up. Like, what year is it? How has it already been 2 years? These two have been here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. But I love that our German instructors are getting the love and showing up that they've been there for 2 years. That's really cool.
The Clip Out.
Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube from MetPro, here to answer all of your fitness and nutrition questions, it's Angelo. Hello.
Hi.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back.
Well, thank you for being here. We have a question from Sarah Kaplan Schmidt. She is struggling with finding time to do everything, and unfortunately, working out falls off the to-do list. Do you have any suggestions for Sarah?
I do, Sarah. This is actually a super common challenge because there's just not enough time in the day. So one of the reasons people tell me they can't find the time is because they think exercise needs to be a bigger endeavor than it really needs to be as far as time commitment. So I'll tell you, one of my clients, he was actually the CEO of a big tech company, and he was in a plane literally like 25 days out of the month. So he had no time. He was just airport. So what we did was we built him back in the day. We kind of pioneered this idea of micro workouts. Now they're very popular. And you can actually find options all over the place, simple options where what we had him do is right in the hotel room, he would just do a 10 to 12 minute workout. And with that, it wasn't such a chunk out of his day that he couldn't be consistent. In fact, with a lot of our clients, when they're first starting, one of the things that we really emphasize, because we watch the data, Sarah, we crunch the numbers and we see what really makes the difference. When we have gone back, we've analyzed thousands of clients that have gone through our program. What we have found is that clients that exercise regularly, and when I say regularly, that's 3 or more times a week, lose 33% more weight than those that do not. Now, in both categories, they lost weight because, of course, your biggest lever is the nutrition. But those who exercised consistently lost 33% more. Now, here's the interesting part. That analysis was indifferent to the amount of time they spent exercising. In fact, it appeared that, and of course there are exceptions to this, but overall what it appeared is that those who were consistent, even with shorter workouts, when the frequency was high enough, they lost more weight. Now, as a coach doing this for 2 decades, thousands and thousands of clients, I can tell you that there are some behavioral patterns and some psychology behind why that statistic is the way it is. Because yes, it's true. If you go to a knockdown, drag out boot camp, you will burn more calories. But what we also find is if somebody exercises, even if it's just a short circuit where they're doing it in their living room for just 10 minutes, their nutritional adherence and the choices they make with their food is on average better that day. So there's a whole lot of forces in play. But the moral of the story, Sarah, is that if I could recommend one thing, it would be pick whatever you can fit into your schedule, even if it's just 10 minutes, and do it as close to daily as you're able. And that can be as simple as, now, if you download our app, there's I think we're up to about 650 workouts in it, but we have purposefully developed short workouts for people in your exact scenario that you can find. But there are so many resources out there. You can find little circuits anywhere. The key is get moving, something that's going to work the larger muscle groups of your body, big ticket items. Think of a pressing motion, a pulling motion, a squatting motion. Doesn't have to be heavy, but big ticket items in a circuit that elevates your heart rate and sustains it for at least a few minutes. What you're going to get is an afterburn for that, where your metabolic rate is elevated at least for a time after that. And the consistency of doing that as close to daily as possible can have a measurable impact, a positive impact on your metabolism. So my number one suggestion, Sarah, is if you're thinking you have to pack your gym bag, you have to drive to the gym, you have to find an hour of your day, and then you have to take the extra travel time and then shower and change and all that, it's no wonder why people can't find time to work out. Don't think of it in those terms. If you're just starting off, figure out what the simplest, the lowest common denominator that you can be consistent with. Start with that. And what will happen, Sarah, is you'll be able to gradually build on it. Start with 8 minutes, 10 minutes. And then over time, you might be able to add 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and beyond. But start simple. That's going to have the greatest impact.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for all that. And until next time, where can people find you and get this sort of stuff tailor-made for them?
MetPro.co/TCO.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Peloton celebrity sightings.
We have a celebrity sighting, and this isn't necessarily new information that Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us is a Peloton lover, because he was on Tunde's podcast. But he talks about his love of Peloton in this week's issue of People magazine.
That's 2 mentions in People magazine.
Yeah.
For Peloton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess he's out making the rounds for his movie American Fiction, which we saw the other day.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I guess I can talk about it here. I'm technically embargoed, but
embargoed till when?
Till I think it opens like the 22nd of December.
Okay.
But it was really good.
It was really good.
So,
it'll stick with you.
It was funny. Like, it was fascinating that it's about a serious topic, and it doesn't trivialize the topic in any way, shape, or form. But it was also really funny. And so, I would highly recommend. This is probably going to be one of my favorite films of the year. So
I could understand that. I really can.
It was really good.
It was really good.
And we should also, when we're talking about Sterling K. Brown, always take a moment to mention, because we love to shit on St. Louis.
He's from St. Louis.
He's from St. Louis. And so it's one of the things we get to be proud of. We got John Hamm. We've got
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown. We have
the chick from The Office.
We have 3 chicks from The Office.
That's true.
So, because we had Pam and we had Ellie Kemper. I'm forgetting the character's name, but and then I'm totally blanking on it. Phyllis.
Oh yes,
Phyllis is also from St. Louis. So.
And we of course have the zoo.
And the zoo.
I mean,
which is very good.
It's very good, and it's free.
Yes.
So yeah.
So there.
Yeah.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk about content and a past guest update from a former interviewee who not only finished a marathon, won the whole damn thing. So stick around.
Past guest update.
So I'm thinking that the tease that I gave for this particular story, if you were a regular listener, was very, very solvable.
I feel like probably, yeah. If you don't know, it's CJ Albertson.
Yes.
But this dude is so freaking fast. My brain cannot, like, it melts when I try to picture it, you know? Like, to be able to run 26 miles in 2 hours and 11 minutes.
And 9 seconds.
That's incredible.
It is.
He was number one by 2 whole minutes.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like, he beat the guy came in second by 2 minutes.
That's a lot.
There's like literally the picture of him crossing the finish line.
There's no one else there.
There is nobody else in the picture. They hadn't even set up the finish line yet.
But here's the cool thing, and I think we're going to see really big things from CJ this year. You know, he's gone after the Boston twice, and I feel like this is he did the strategy different this time because at 23 miles is when he did his big move.
Right.
And that's when he pulled away and like completely crushed it. In the Boston Marathon, the first year that he attempted to do it, he was like way out ahead at the very beginning, and then he lost steam.
But he was ahead for like, what, 13 or 14 miles.
It was a long time.
It was a long time.
But I think that he's like tweaking his strategy.
At like the pacing. Like,
yes.
Yeah, the strategy of the marathon, not just, for most people, it's like finish.
Right.
And then, or maybe.
I don't know about most people, but for me.
If you're, I was going to say, or if you're a little bit more advanced, it's finish faster.
Yeah.
Right. But where he's like, how do I win?
Yeah. And I also think that, you know, there's a difference in what the layout or the topography looks like in California International Marathon versus Boston. Boston, I don't know. I'm not familiar with California, but I know Boston is like known for its hills, you know. So they have some hills, especially at the end. So who cares either way? I don't know if that means he's really going to do that with Boston, but huge congratulations on this for CJ Albertson. He's just had a phenomenal year, and it's really cool to see him just killing it out there, and to know that he trains on his treadmill, his Peloton tread that can't go fast enough for him to get. He can't. Oh my God, it's crazy. I remember that whenever he did his entire 26-mile training and he couldn't go as fast as he wanted to go. Like, that just, again, blows my mind.
For sure.
Checking out the competition.
So Apple is working on smart ring technology. But according to the patent, it might work on other parts of the body that are cylindrical in nature.
He said delicately. So that's all you're going to say about that, huh?
I'm not sure what all this, like, I'm not sure what, well, I know what you would use something like that for, but I don't know what sort of data it would be collecting.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah. I don't really know.
I think that they're meaning like wrists and like bracelets.
Well, that's a tiny little wrist.
Well, I mean, I guess it's adaptable, you know, like you can.
So take that technology and then like change it up and put it into. Yeah, that could be.
Because a ring's going to be way too small, I would think.
But they already have the smart watch. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I read the article a little bit, and then it got kind of technical, and I just got bored and I stopped because that's what I do. But yeah, I really didn't get. They were like, oh well, but you can use it like when you walk by a thing, it'll know you're there, and it can enter. But like you won't have a screen on it. Well, maybe you'll have like a lanyard. I'm like, what? Why would I have a lanyard? Why would I buy a ring so I can look at something on a lanyard? Like, I don't know. And that's when I stopped. When I saw lanyard, I was like, I'm done now. So who's ever in marketing, don't try to do this with a lanyard if I'm to be believed. Because as soon as I said lanyard, I was like, close.
Yeah. The word lanyard is real boring.
I don't want a device that then needs another device that I have no, like, if it interacts with my smartphone, okay, then I'm already carrying that. That's fine. But I'm like, but I need a lanyard? No, hard pass.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated.
But yes, I can't wait to see all the perverted things people come up with.
I mean, I remember the other day when we saw this was a different title and a different article, but you were like, really?
I hope it's got flex capabilities.
God. Oh,
You go walk the dog when it's cold outside. All of a sudden, it slides down your pants leg. It's gonna be problems.
Yep.
Get the warranty. That's all I'm saying. Get the warranty, and don't get the titanium one.
Oh my God, they can't cut
They
those
can't
off.
cut through that. So
Beware.
Yeah.
New content.
Well, let's take a look at the TCO Top 5. We put out the Eagle Call, and then you tell us which classes were your favorites, and then we share them with everyone else to help narrow down their class choice selection.
Well, the very first one is the favorite Peloton row. This was submitted by Sarah Lester. This was on November 12th, 15-minute Diwali row with Alex K. Sarah says that she was really impressed with Alex's 15-minute Diwali row. He explained how he came to experience Diwali and being open to learn and celebrate different celebrations and traditions. A great class for the beginning of the holiday season. That's lovely.
Yeah, it is. And so number 2?
Number 2 is the favorite Peloton run. This was from 12/1 of 2023. This was the 30-minute World AIDS Day with Jeffrey. And Cindy Stewart loved it because of the personal story that Jeffrey shared. She said that she loved his World AIDS Day run. He shared about his uncle who survived an HIV diagnosis in the 80s, which, wow.
Yeah.
And then mentioned that even though they are close, he's never met him in person and would like to do so. He also shared how he helped to support those with HIV, especially women and children who need support to extract themselves from unhealthy situations by helping women become independent. Very moving.
I would love to hear the backstory on how
they're close,
they are close but have never met.
I'm guessing it's a travel distance thing.
Yeah, but you really have to make an effort to become close with someone
That's true.
who you haven't been able to meet.
That's true.
You know?
I'll have to take the class and see if I can get any more information.
Yeah. Number 3?
Number 3 was the favorite Peloton full body strength. This was from 12/1/23. It was a 45-minute full body strength with Rebecca Kennedy. This one came up multiple times. Stephanie Wallers, and she's Steph Spins for Cake. She said it completely fried her legs and triceps in the best way. If you like her 5-day split, this is a lot like it. Heavy lifting, long rest in between. Love that.
Okay.
Then we have the favorite Peloton walk.
Wait. Coming up at number 4?
The favorite Peloton walk from December 3rd. It was a 30-minute holiday walk with Jess King. Jennifer Bentz, also known as Jay Jeezy, she said that Jess King's 30-minute holiday walk from 12/3 was her favorite. She was feeling a tad under the weather, so she wanted something a little lighter than a run. Somehow she found herself in this class, and it was Christmassy EDM music, and between Jess's outfit, her playlist, and her usual spunky self, the whole thing was just what she needed to kick off December.
Okay. And
one last thing. There's a spoiler alert on that one. So if you do take that class, make sure that if you have little ones in the room, you should absolutely have headphones on when you listen to that.
There are Christmas spoilers.
There are.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
We appreciate Helper B. Darcy making sure we knew about that spoiler.
For sure.
And then, of course, our Unstackable. This came in 45-minute Power Zone endurance ride with Matt Wilpers from December 2nd. And
Wait. Coming up at number 5? Sorry.
Okay, so this came from Dave Stember. He said Matt's 45-minute Power Zone endurance ride was a symphony of suffering on pedals. 3 8-minute intervals in zone 3 on a 45-minute ride. Really? 3 to 4 instructors chose the music for him, which he added to the fun. More motivating than usual. If you enjoy a Power Zone ride, give it a try. That's interesting that the endurance ride made it to an Unstackable. That must have been real rough because usually it's the intense ones. The endurance are supposed to be the quote unquote easiest. So
leave it to Matt.
Oh, Matt.
Yes.
You got Wilpers. leopard.
So the 2023 holiday class schedule or classes are here.
Yeah, there's 18 of them on
Holy
the
cow.
schedule. So many. There are a wide variety, including, and can I just say, I'm so excited about this, Hanukkah classes. 4, count them, 4 special workouts.
Thought there would have been 8, but okay.
Well, we had none for years,
Yes.
and last year we had 1. So, let's just be happy we have
there.
4.
Maybe we'll get 8 eventually.
Also, people have been asking for Jen Sherman to do one for years, and she is finally teaching a 20-minute premiere ride at 5 p.m. Eastern on December 7th. Bradley Rose will pick up the Hanukkah dreidel again, and he will teach a 10-minute
Hanukkah menorah?
Yes, he will pick up the menorah and teach a 10-minute arms and light weights class dropping on demand on December 7th. Anna Greenberg is teaching a 20-minute restorative yoga on December 8th. And Robin Arzan will be teaching a 20-minute run on Saturday, December 9th. I will say Anna Greenberg just broke her toe, so hopefully she will still be teaching that class.
I would love to have been in the marketing meeting where they just had to decide whether they were going to spell Hanukkah with an H or a C.
Yeah, that's a good question. Then we have XOXO Cody, Santa's Workshop, spelled W-E-R-K, if you couldn't hear it. This is going to be a special XOXO Cody class, and it's going to be a fun way to get into the holiday spirit. It is scheduled for December 8th and starts at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, we have the Holiday Challenge badge. You get 3, 5, or 10 classes during the month of December that are holiday, and boom, you get a new badge. So those are always fun.
Will they send you a Santa hat to match your turkey hat?
Who knows when they're going to send out what they send. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, Tom.
Oh, that's fair. Also, Peloton announced their Move as One classes,
which took place while we were in London.
Yeah, I think I saw a class photo after one.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of instructors came out at the same time.
Well, you know what that was? I think it was the rehearsal for the Move as One class, because they had, right after I was done with my class, they had the next class was the rehearsal. And so and of course, nobody can attend the rehearsal. So I think they were just in there, and then as part of their gearing up for it, they took a big group shot.
But there was a bunch of people waiting for them.
Then maybe they had people that were waiting to, I don't know. I can't explain that. Sorry. I don't know.
Because it wasn't just an instructor picture.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. You are definitely digressing.
Yes.
Point being, there were 3 of these. There was a ride, a run, and there was a strength class. This entire, if you are part of our Patreon community and you pay for this, you're going to hear how exciting this was. We're going to get into it a little more in depth, but I will say this about our London trip. This entire tour stop was the closest to homecoming that there has been since COVID. Absolutely bar none.
Yeah.
That's what the traditional homecoming was like. And it was magical and wonderful. And I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to go.
Absolutely. We mentioned this earlier, but seated adaptive transfer classes with Logan, and now we will actually talk about the class itself.
Yeah, so he also took this class, or I should say he taught this class with para-Olympian Tom Miazga. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly, but and Tom posted about this all over his social media as well. And it's this entire program is designed to teach people to build strength to properly transfer in and out of a wheelchair. What an important thing!
Yeah,
that's so important. And so Peloton is saying, hey, we get how hard it can be for seated athletes to transfer in and out of a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So we're going to help you increase your strength, your mobility, coordination, and technique. So it's a 1-week program, and there are 12 classes over that week. And you take them in order to complete the program. And Logan will walk you through it.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Also, Peloton marked Persons with Disability Day.
Yes. And so Bradley Rose did a 20 minutes cycling class all on this theme. And this took place on December 3rd as well. It was a premiere, so it had already been pre-recorded. But I love that they're celebrating that. That's great.
Absolutely.
Peloton birthdays.
And we only got one birthday this week. It's from Marcel Maurer, or I guess from her mother.
His.
Sorry, let me do that over.
Please.
Yeah. We only got one birthday this week, and it's from Marcel Maurer, or I guess his mother.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
December 12th.
Well, happy birthday, Marcel.
Happy birthday. And coming up after this, we're going to have our interview of the week, futurist Blake Morgan. So stick around.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Blake Morgan. Hey, Blake, how's it going?
Hi.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're good. Super excited to talk to you about all things Peloton, of course, but also you've got books and speeches and all kinds of things that you've managed to wind Peloton into. So I am really excited to talk about that too, because it is always my dream to take Peloton and bring it into the job. I love that. That makes work fun, don't you think?
I mean, Crystal, is this your job? I don't know anything about you. I want to interview you. Is this your job or is this your hobby?
So, yes, that is the answer to the question. So I used to be a corporate project manager, and then I found Peloton and we started this podcast. And then I got super I had never been a person who was into fitness on my own. I always wanted to be like in shape, but I wanted to do it for aesthetic reasons. And it never occurred to me that I could do like things like run or, I was just like, I had to get on an elliptical to lose weight. Right. And whenever I found Peloton, it like changed my whole mindset. One, that I could work out from home, and two, that I met all of these people that are lovingly crazy. So they do things like, oh, you've never run a mile in your life? Come join us. Let's do a half Ironman as a relay together. Like that's the kind of thing. And so then I got really involved in it, and I started figuring like, I want to understand more about like how people stay in shape, how they like get really fit, things like that. So I got my own personal training certificate through NASM, and then I did a nutrition certificate and behavioral change. I just kind of went in, did all the things, and then somewhere along the way, MetPro was a sponsor of our show, and I fell in love with their process because they help you lose weight or train for a marathon or whatever, but it's not like restriction. It's they kind of taught me about reverse dieting, which you maybe about, I don't know, but it's not your traditional dieting methods. It's the opposite of that. It's eating more and still losing weight.
I ate a shit ton. Jacob said I could curse on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
He's like, it's so cash. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's all Peloton. It's like, we'll talk about all that. But yeah, I don't diet for sure.
Yeah. So then I ended up going to work for them, and I do their podcast, and I am a coach. And then I have another podcast with Tom that we do about tonal, because I fell in love with tonal as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
We were kind of,
lots of little things.
Yeah. It kind of became my job.
That's awesome.
I know that was a really long answer to a question when I
and I really like your voice, like, because I'm a podcaster. I'm like, oh, she's got like a Midwest, like it's good. It's a good voice.
You were very sweet. Thank you.
I have a job with insurance. So that's...
He doesn't at all.
I do. We have insurance.
Oh, I thought you meant like you work in insurance.
No,
I was
I have a job with healthcare insurance. You have all these other things, and then I'm like, and then I got the job where if we get hit by a car,
like I did in February,
then we can still be taken care of. So
yeah.
Okay, got it. Well, good. Well, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Well, we are so excited you were here. How did you originally find Peloton?
Everyone just kept talking about it in 2020, and I had a baby in 2020, and I used to be really into Orange Theory, and my whole life I've used exercise to combat stress. And I mean, sitting at a desk all day, like, I don't know if I have ADHD, but I definitely have something, and it's very hard for me to sit still. So I just found my whole life exercise helped to keep me calm and happy and all of that. So not being able to go to the gym or Orange Theory like so many others, in I think June or July of 2020, I had my son, my second child, and I wanted to lose weight and get back in shape. And I just had that moment of like, I want to try this thing that everyone is talking about. And so I started with the bike and did a lot of that Also had a personal trainer coming and helping me like get into weight training.
Yeah.
And I did that intensely with my first trainer. You know, you go through phases with certain coaches. Like first it was Jess King. Ironically, like my childhood best friend is like best friends with her randomly in New York City. It's like
that
so
is
weird.
random. Wow.
So weird. She should be on your podcast. But anyway, and then it was like Alex Toussaint. I got really into Alex Toussaint. And then did that for like 2 years, like hardcore on the bike. And then I really missed running. And so I actually bought a treadmill, and now I'm really into the running classes, as well as I've been doing weight training with Jess Sims like religiously for years, and I think she's incredible.
She is incredible. I love her. You know, I always tell people that she is the first one that ever brought listening games to Peloton, Jess Sims.
Oh,
I love her listening games.
She's so funny with that. It's like, okay, another burpee. I'm like, damn it, this chorus is like long.
So you had a baby during COVID. That sounds like a lot. Not that having a baby isn't always a lot, but that's an extra wrinkle.
COVID was weird.
It was actually amazing because I kind of do what you guys do, but I also travel and speak for my job. Like I make money by giving speeches. And so when you have a baby, you're not in the running for these speeches. You can't travel, you can't get on an airplane. And because of COVID, like every event was canceled, and they said, okay, well, now we're doing a webinar. Well, guess what I can do? Pregnant. I can give a webinar. So there were all these silver linings for me personally and my family where I didn't have to travel. I could still work through the pregnancy and also be with my kids and be with my son. But yeah, it was tough. You know, wearing a mask, being asked to wear a mask when you have a baby is like brutal.
Yeah.
I always, through my pregnancies, exercised, meditation. I do Peloton meditation every single day. And so, yeah, I mean, having a baby during COVID, like the only hard part is, you know, my son the grandparents couldn't hold my son, but you know, we just made it work. Like we all just made it work. And one time I was washing strawberries with soap because, you know, in the beginning, we're all so nervous about COVID until I ate soap and I thought, this can't be good for the baby. I've got to relax a little bit, but and we actually moved during COVID.
Here's the upside, though, of the baby eating soap. He has not cussed one time.
Oh, right. Yeah. But I did. Boy.
That's why you ate the soap.
So crazy. But, you know, during COVID, we just realized we were so lonely in the Bay Area where we lived. We had no family around. It just, working and having little kids is tough. And then being alone during a pandemic was just brutal. And when I had my son, I think I was a little depressed, like probably a lot of other new moms. And I just remember being on the bike, like thinking like, where can we move? Like I just had this bug of, I don't want to live here anymore in the Bay Area. And we ended up moving somewhere I never thought in a million years I would ever live, which is in Los Angeles. We live in the Valley, but now we live near grandparents. And so, you know, it's amazing how in life you just end up doing things you never thought you would do because life pushes you and you change and you grow.
Yeah, it is funny how the opportunities present themselves that you never would have considered under a different set of circumstance.
Absolutely.
So you have a tread, you run, you bike. Is that like, and you said you do strength training. Do you do strength training through the Peloton platform, or do you still have a trainer, or how does that work for you?
Oh, no. No, I had a trainer for just a little bit. I'm not a big fan of personal training. I just find I'm much less lazy when I'm like personally driven. I'm the worst because I'll make best friends with the trainer and we won't work out. We'll just talk. I've been doing the strength training through the app. I take Jess Sims with me when I'm on the road, you know, in the hotel, on the treadmill. You know, the thing that I love Peloton, but they don't really want you to know that you just need that app and you can just put that iPad or the phone on any treadmill. So I actually ended up buying a non-Peloton treadmill. It's a very expensive treadmill. And I find for me, the non-branded Peloton treadmill works just fine. And I've really been enjoying that. But yeah, I haven't been biking like at all. It's like I'm in a phase of just running and strength training. And to be honest, I've gotten really strong. People are shocked. Like lately, I'm only doing 30-minute runs uphill, like sprinting intervals, and then 15 minutes of strength training. And I've gotten really pretty toned just with that.
Yeah, it is funny how that you can do a lot with a little. And actually, some people work out too much. Some people, it's like 6 days a week. And
well, it doesn't work.
I know. I know.
And then your body, you don't get the results because you're not letting your body heal.
I know.
I have to watch that because I use exercise as a stress reliever, but then I know, like, if I don't rest, first of all, you never have a good workout because you're always fatigued.
Yep. Do you only use cardio for your stress relief?
Oh my gosh, no. I mean, we walk the dogs. I have a pool. I swim, doing like cold plunge. I'm a huge proponent out there. If any of your listeners have like stress, anxiety, or depression, jump in a cold pool that's just not heated. You don't need a very expensive cold plunge ice bath. Just go in a cold pool and it's just so refreshing. So I do like very like turtle, like breaststroke for 10 minutes every day in the cold. And, walking, running, my dogs, meditation, being with friends is really important, family. So no, I'm constantly, because I'm like, I already am prone to these things, and I'm a working mom, very ambitious in her career. So it's not the working mom thing that makes me stressed. It's just my personality. I'm very intense. And I think in life, if I had done anything, I would have been the same. So I try not, it's like Jess Sims always saying, she's like, I keep telling you working moms, you're not tired. So like, it's about not having excuses. Oh, I'm tired because of my kids, or it's like, okay, how are you feeling right now? What do you need right now? Fix it, get it for yourself, and then you won't be complaining.
So,
or dragging yourself.
When it comes to your work, your job, you're in customer experience, and you do these speeches. How did that become your passion? Like, how did that become part of your everyday life?
So I fell into it like so many others. Like, if you hear about Jess Sims' career path, like her career path, she was very athletic, and then she got into teaching at Teach for America, and then she became a principal, and then she realized she loved fitness, and then I guess because of Peloton and everything, now she's a teacher of fitness, so she's marrying her passions. That kind of happened to me too. I was living in New York City. I was working at a conference production company. I had moved there to be Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. Well, that didn't work out, and I got fired from an unpaid fashion magazine internship. Aww. And so I fell into this job of producing events and podcasting and blogging back in like 2007, when it was very early. And I met my husband, and I fell completely head over heels for him. After 5 years in New York, I flew to San Francisco and started working at a bunch of different companies. None of them worked out. I worked at even Fortune 500, Fortune 100 company called Intel. That didn't work out. I got laid off. And I realized that there was this niche of customer service and experience that was growing, and I was building a brand doing that. And you can feel in your life, everybody watching and listening, when you have momentum for something, you just feel it in your bones. You're like, I think there's something here. And so for the last 10 years, I've just been continuing to basically write, speak, produce tons of content on this niche that has just exploded. Because you can imagine, especially during COVID, every customer needed to have a digital experience. And so brands had to hustle to figure out, how can we serve customers through digital technology? So I've just kind of continued with that. I call it a customer experience futurist type of role of, okay, the customer has all the power. And thanks to smartphones and social media, so brands had to step up in the last 15 years. Now they're realizing the only way to differentiate is through experience. I think Peloton, we can talk about that more later, but Peloton has done a great job of that, but they've also had some missteps. So, but that's how I fell into it. It's like falling into the ocean, and you just move where the waves take you. And I've had a lot of success recently because I think thanks to Peloton, my fitness routine, my mindset, I'm extremely ambitious. I use what I have to help me instead of seeing, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. It's all a setback. I'm different. I use everything that makes me different as an advantage. And as a result, my brand is growing, and I'm just coming out with my third book this next year with HarperCollins.
Congratulations.
Yeah, nice.
I sound really full of myself. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I am not, like, I am very humble. Like, life will beat the crap out of you. And I'll beat the crap out of me too, which I do with Alex Toussaint all the time. But yeah, that's my story.
Well, I'm curious of an example of something that you see as some people might beat themselves up over, but you use it as an advantage. Like, well, give me an example of what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm super sensitive. And I was extremely shy as a kid. And if you call on me in class, my face would turn bright red, even up to being in my 20s at work. They'd say, Blake, in a business meeting, what do you think? And I believe I would just look like I wanted to cry, like, don't call on me. I just want to hide. I don't want to see me. But as I went on, I used my anxiety as a superpower. And I would think, I would pump myself up like, you really want this opportunity to go to that guy because he's confident and he doesn't care what people think. Like, no, like I would just literally be my own coach and use my anxiety as a superpower, because you can channel all that negativity and it's energy, and you use that energy and you push yourself out there when you don't feel ready, and you keep pushing yourself and you keep pushing yourself. And eventually you become that person where you can be on the mic and you don't care what people think. And you realize other people enjoy the authenticity of that. You can laugh at yourself, or your voice isn't perfect for a speech or a podcast. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect to win. And there's enough for everybody to go around.
All very true.
I say that to Crystal all the time because she's always worried about something that's going to go wrong.
Always.
Like that. But because of that, she's become a really good planner. And so I'm over here like, but what's gone wrong ever? You always have a plan. And if that plan doesn't work, there's a backup plan to that backup plan.
And I'm like, well, the only reason it hasn't gone wrong is because I did all those plans.
Right.
So you know what you learn, like as podcasters, or what, if you're doing a speech or whatever, if something goes wrong, let's say like my dog barks, everyone listening and watching, their ears will perk up. They'll go, oh, what's that? And even in a speech, like let's say somebody like sneezes really loud in the audience, like everybody starts paying attention, and it actually adds to the richness of the event when something goes wrong in a weird way. Like it breaks up the monotony of everything going right.
Oh,
and you use it.
I always have this thought about when people are getting married and they're super worried about like, oh, is the flower girl going to walk down the aisle right, or is she going to drop the flower? And I was like, that when if she does it right, you'll never remember it. It's
right.
It's the moment when like, oh, remember when the flower girl walked the wrong way, got halfway down and turned around and ran out. Like that's what you remember, especially when now the flower girl's 26. You know what I mean? And you're looking back like those, when things veer off the path, that's when it becomes memorable. I'm here to make things veer off the path.
Yeah.
She makes the plans.
That's true.
I make things veer.
And it's part of your story. Like, people listening and watching might assume things about me, but not even that long ago, I remember I went to a conference and all my peers were there, and I was extremely nervous. And I don't think my speech was that strong. So I gave a speech and I got off the stage and I just felt like I want to go home. I was in Vegas. I was like, this didn't go well. And I got the feedback from the organizer. He said, Blake, you were the lowest rated speaker out of all of our speakers. And I was devastated.
Yeah.
And I went to my room and I cried. I just felt like I can't do this. I don't want to do this job anymore. But it's in those moments that the universe is testing to see what you're made of. And I went to other people and I said, this happened to me. What do I do? And they said, eventually you'll have thick skin and it won't bother you. And now I believe that I'm a much better speaker. And that's part of my story is, oh, yes, I was terrible. Or, being with my daughter pregnant, getting up on stage, having a bad haircut and being overweight and wearing clothes that didn't look right. Like that's part of my story. And I think I'm really interested in psychology. And if you've seen the documentary called Stutz on Netflix, have you guys seen that?
Oh, is that the Jonah Hill one?
Yeah.
Okay, I've not seen it.
And what he says is basically you should run toward pain. And a lot of psychologists say this, and I think this is a Peloton tenet. It's like, don't avoid being uncomfortable. Run toward pain, and you will be so much better off. And it's the same with stress and with the things you're trying to hide. Because Phil Stutz, the psychologist, says actually happiness, that part of you, the shadow part of you, the like dorky 18-year-old overweight with braces that you keep trying to hide. Like, she wants to be part of what's happening now. So include her and imagine her on stage. And once you do that, it's interesting how your whole body relaxes and something amazing happens.
That's interesting.
Yeah. We'll have to watch that.
Yeah, definitely. We're all about the documentaries, and that really sounds fascinating. I'm curious the different time, like you mentioned, we were going back and forth before the interview, that you've talked about Peloton in your books and speeches, and that really does fascinate me, like how you found a way to bring, I mean, there's a ton of examples that could be business oriented, but I'm curious how you've used those in your speeches.
Yeah, so Peloton is a modern customer experience because of the personalization you get from the app. And a lot of us Peloton fans, like, we'll never go back to the gym, because at the gym, you're not getting personalized metrics. You aren't getting that feeling of, it's like me and Jess Sims are the only people in the room when I'm doing. So it's a mix of, they're using data to personalize. It's incredible content, and they don't rest on their laurels. Like, those coaches are always bringing their A game. And also, like, the product is great, but anybody can buy a treadmill or a bike. But again, it's the mix of that personalization and that content that makes Peloton an extremely modern brand, that it's the cult of Peloton, and people keep coming back.
And it's tailored to your,
that's what I talk about.
And it's tailored to your schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, even just like, especially working parents, like, you don't have time to drive. Or like, let's say Orange Theory, which I used to do religiously. It was across the street from where we live. So I would just walk over, and you have to secure your spot. But it's like a whole thing. You can't just like turn on your computer and start your workout. You've got to be there at the right time. You've got to be there 20 minutes before. And so, or the gym, you got to drive there. You've got to compete with other people for equipment. Like, it's just not very smart, and time management for especially working professionals is really important. And it doesn't sound like much, but that half an hour to 40 minutes of driving to a gym, or that's a really important time. And Peloton has just been incredible for me personally to make fitness a part of my life in a way that's sustainable.
Oh, could not agree more. What do you feel like? You mentioned maybe some missteps they've had, which they absolutely have. I'm curious what stands out the most to you over time.
I'm writing a book right now, and one of the things I was studying was just Peloton's explosive growth. And then the downfall, like after COVID, like they had incredible growth. I think at the height, the brand was worth something like $90 billion or something crazy. I have to check my notes. But then, huge growth and excitement, and then mismanagement steps and changing customer preferences, and the stock plummeted. And it was very disappointing for all of Peloton's shareholders. And I think what happened is, they got very excited about the growth, and they started trying to accommodate customer demand, but then things started to go wrong. Customers weren't getting their bikes on time. So they bought a $400 million factory in Ohio, and they did the best they could, spending money like crazy, hiring like crazy, spending all this money. Then there was a recall, and John Foley didn't admit fast enough that there could be a problem with the treadmill. And I think it took him 2 weeks to admit that there was a problem and do a recall. Well, and two weeks is a long time. And he really, people were not happy with his behavior, because if he admitted there was a problem with the treadmill, huge financial loss and major problems for Peloton. But worse is the loss of trust the customer has with the brand, saying, oh, well, this brand only cares about profit. A child died on the treadmill, and the CEO didn't recall the product fast enough. And I think that was the beginning of the end for John Foley, unfortunately, and his career at Peloton, because like, it's in these moments that people are under pressure. What are you going to do when things hit the fan?
I think that he really felt strongly that he was in the right. I think if you were to ask him today, he still feels right about what he did. I think that he felt that if a person used that treadmill correctly and within the confines of the way it was supposed to be used, that there would not be accidents, and that there were other treadmills on the market that have never been they've never been taken to task in the same way that Peloton has, even though they themselves have had accidents on it. And I personally think that there's some question marks there about the CPSC wanting to put a little bit of a target on Peloton, because they had the ability to do that, and they could use it as a platform to further their agenda.
I don't know who that is.
CPSC. I'm sorry, the Safety Commission. That is the one who said they needed to do the recall. I can't.
It's just dicey for a brand. If Peloton, they're so popular and so beloved, and when you are the top, when you are the most admired brand, your behavior is under a microscope. And yes, people are just waiting for you to misstep. But I think while you're right, customer perception is reality. And when these things happen, same thing happened. I interviewed Oscar Munoz, the CEO of United, when a passenger was dragged off the plane. It took him way too long to say, oh yeah, we messed up. And so for me, from my perspective as a customer experience strategist, like, Peloton could have been right or not right, but by not saying, oh, we care about customer safety, number one, and we're going to address this like really quickly, it just gives too much room for people to wonder like what's going on behind the closed doors.
You're not wrong.
I think the biggest miscalculation he made is that he looked at it and said, this has happened to other treadmills. Why are we any different? Forgetting that Peloton is different. Right? Like Peloton is different, and that's part of what makes it so magical. But then that means in moments like this, you're going to get attention in a way that NordiTrack or Bowflex isn't going to get it, because you've kind of been dominating pop culture in a way that those brands throughout the entirety of their existence never have been able to muster. And so because of that, when you find yourself in a similar unfortunate situation, people expect a different reaction, and you will have a bigger target on your back.
Yeah. And I think you're right that it's like it doesn't matter, Blake, if he was right or he was wrong. The fact of the matter is it's how it came across to so many people. And that was really detrimental. And
it's weird because it's like all this is happening in the news and you're seeing the stock price plummet. And then I'm still doing my classes with Ross Rayborn meditation and Jess Sims and Alex Toussaint. And I'm looking at them, I'm going, are they upset about this at work? Like what? Like I'm like looking to see if they're sweating, and like they just keep doing what they're doing. And it's just interesting, you're getting so much value as a customer, but these big business, these things are happening like that. These macroeconomic trends that are affecting the company. But I'm still a huge fan, and Peloton is a big part of my life. And I'm pretty fit because of Peloton. Like I have them to thank, like mentally and physically. So it's weird. You hear all this stuff about how terrible they are, but you're like, but they're amazing. They're a huge part of my life. And also, if they're so horrible, why is every single thing they do, good or bad, clickbait? Yeah. Like it's a fair question.
At the end of the day, their stock price might have plummeted, but their customer base hasn't.
Yes.
And so like that's where I always get confused with like the disconnect between, it's like they're still bringing in people day after day and creating new customers and keeping the ones that they have. So like why does it now mean a bad stock price? That part has always mystified me. But
Agreed.
Back to your experience with the product, it's something I think I said on the show at the time, which is like, if I'm going to open a can of Coke and take a drink, I don't, as a customer, go, well, what's the stock price looking like today, right? Like I want Coke or I want Pepsi. I don't care about the stock price.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. People keep coming back to Peloton because the content's really good.
Yeah.
They're always trying new things and having fun with the brand. And I mean, they have an incredible brand that it has longevity. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few years. And I'm excited to keep watching as a customer, but also as a, I won't call myself an analyst, but, somebody covering these topics for places like Forbes and other magazines and interviews.
I'm curious what Peloton has done that has had the largest impression on you from a positive side, because we talk about the negative side.
Yeah. I mean, one example is like Robin, what's her last name?
Arzon.
Arzon. Yeah. Like, I think it's really interesting to see her through her pregnancies working out. Like, I know a lot of people, it seems like she got pushed back and flack for strength training while she was very pregnant. And she's saying strength training pregnant is safe. Working out pregnant is fine. And, you know, she is a very public example of a woman that, you know, didn't like disappear because she had a baby. And I actually have her book, Strong Mama, and I read it with my daughter. Sometimes my daughter will pull that book from the bookcase because she knows like how much I light up when I read it. But that message of strength, and it's confusing and difficult at times to be a working mom. You're strong at the same time, you're vulnerable because you have children, and it's like, how do you show up in the world? And I think she's such a positive example. And I believe I don't know if she's still the head of content and training, but at the time she was.
Yeah.
So like, she's a lawyer, she does this marathon, she does like the ultra marathons and everything. And yeah, she's still training pregnant, and she's back. She's pregnant again, continuing to show up and lift weights and say, hey, this is actually safe. So I think that's really cool. And just all the different representation of Peloton. And, you know, it doesn't matter what you look like everybody loves fitness, and you don't have to love the coach that looks like you. You can appreciate people from different backgrounds. And I think that's really positive for Peloton.
I definitely agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is your leaderboard name?
It's Love to Sweat, BM, which also BM is bowel movement.
Yeah, I was
so
like,
there's
I wasn't
that.
going to say it, but yeah.
I mean, terrible.
Well, that's one hell of a bowel movement if it's making you sweat. Like,
Yeah, I never do like live classes. I'm kind of boring, but yeah, if you want to befriend me on Peloton, I'll accept your friendship.
So would you say that Jess Sims is your favorite instructor, or do you feel like she's one of your favorite instructors?
She is my favorite. I think she is the most like I am not like, I guess I am like her. I feel like this is a person that, first of all, there's things I just respect about her. She's very private. You don't know what's happening in her personal life. She doesn't want you to know, and it's none of your damn business. She doesn't see herself first as like a girly girl. She's a person. She's a leader. She's not going to shrink because of who's in the room. She is who she is. And I just love her positive, what she has to say. Her worldview can come through sometimes when we work out. And from what she says, I like her worldview. And I think the tough love mindset works for her. I understand her dad was like either the chief of the Boston police. I mean, she has like a very interesting background, and I think that influenced her mindset. She's very tough. She played basketball growing up, and I can just very much relate to who she is, like her spirit. She's very pretty, but that has nothing to do with how she speaks or how she shows up in the world. And she's very tough. And I just love her relentless positivity. It's this quote from Billie Jean King that pressure is a privilege, and always reminding you're lucky to be here and be excited by the challenges. She also has a saying that it never gets easier, but you just get stronger. And I think there's this misnomer when you're a kid, like at a certain point, you'll just make it and you will be done working hard. And that as we get older, you know, I'm 39, I've realized, oh, actually the challenges just get bigger. Life just gets harder, but you are more equipped to deal. So you're never like done. There's always work to do, but you just become stronger at facing the challenges that are going to come your way.
absolutely.
So true.
There's a line at the end of Parenthood where Jason Robards ended up having to take on his young grandson, and raise him, right? And they're like, aren't you upset about this? You're supposed to have been like at the end, right? And he's like, you never cross the finish line. He's like, you spend your whole life thinking that there's going to come a point where you've crossed the finish line and now you're done. And he's like, and that day never comes. And basically the sooner you can make your peace with that, the happier you're going to be.
So true.
Yeah, I love that. I love that show too. It's a great throwback.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of like This Is Us before This Is Us.
Yeah, that's a great show. Alex Toussaint says that a lot too. Like, I love all they're saying, you practice how you play. And he has a saying, something to the effect of, if you're always ready, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. And I think that's really, I love that.
I always like how he says, smile, you woke up today.
I know. And some of these coaches, you get the feeling like they have bad days. Like Alex Toussaint wakes up sometimes and he has a problem at Starbucks. Like his latte's too expensive or someone says something weird. He's just so funny.
My guess is he's not very price sensitive anymore.
Yeah, I think those days are behind him.
You'd be surprised. But, when they say like, oh, like, they'll say, today, this morning was hard for me too. Like I wasn't in the mood when I woke up. Like I like that. It's like, oh, like I'm not the only one that just isn't in the mood to work out. Like you get bad moods too. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, we always have we have a sports psychologist on our show, Dr. Jen Mann, and she's taking a little break right now.
Yeah.
Her mom passed away recently, but she's been on many times, and she always says that you find the class that you need. She very much believes that you will randomly pick a class, and that's the class you needed to hear today. There will be a message in there that is just for you. And I agree. I think it's great.
And even my mom, when she visits us, I can hear her on the Peloton watching. There's like an Australian blonde that's like really tiny. I can't remember her name. Do you remember which coach I'm talking about?
Kira Michelle?
No.
The only Australian is...
No, she's British.
Oh,
she's
okay.
British.
Leanne. I bet it's Leanne.
Yeah. And I hear my mom, who's like 70, she's not tiny. And I just love it. My mom's like rocking out to this tiny little coat. It's like, but my mom, this woman resonates with my mom. They couldn't be more different, but it doesn't matter. It's like we all share the sweat equity, which we just get so much joy from.
Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely. Well, Blake, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We greatly appreciate it. Before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you on the social medias and get your books and all that stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to hear from anybody. Love to meet Peloton family and friends. You can just come to my website, blakemichellemorgan.com. Michelle has 2 L's, and I'm all over social, Instagram, and everything. So please find me and we can chat about Peloton.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on all the socials and the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our Patreon over there at patreon.com/The Clip Out. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
and running
and running.